Gets in, another wide open three.
Suns. Pierre Cardin. Suns.
Defers to Booker for the long range.
Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing. Phoenix. Phoenix Suns, and you know we up next. Yeah, we working for that championship ring. We the Valley, it ain't nothing but a thing.
Welcome, everybody, to the Aussie Suns Fans podcast. I am your host, Gavin, and we are joined by, and at the start of the fucking pod again, Boyd just fucks everything up. We are back. The main man is back. We haven't seen him for fucking, I'm tipping 12 months now. Nate, welcome back, mate.
I was a couple of weeks ago, yeah.
I don't know. I can't
getting more regular.
I drink too much beer.
Yeah, I'm putting Metamucil in my Jack Daniels, so I'm getting more regular. I'll be good.
I love it, mate. I love it. And obviously, we've also got one of our favourites, the guy that everybody loves, the man that can't hear a fucking word we say after the intro every single time. Boyd, next time, maybe just fuck off during the intro and come back in.
Oh, well. Yeah, just remind me next time, eh? It must be that intro song. I don't know. I sing it every time it comes on. And
ever since they got the edited version to Gav, it just fucks with you.
It fucks with me every single it's been the last
actually it was. The longer version he didn't have this problem.
Anyway.
Do you know what I love? Do you know what I love though, Boyd? We've been doing this since we've been doing this since what? Just fucking just after the bubble?
Yeah, thereabouts.
I'm tipping, something like that. This is, I reckon, the first time I can remember you having something fucking Phoenix on.
The hat, yeah.
It is.
I'm still waiting on that jersey, mate.
I mailed your jersey today, so go fuck yourself.
Fucking, it better be express too, and you'll hear about it. If I get it, and it's not in one of them fucking satchels, it'll be
I mailed it snail mail. Because fuck you. Why would I pay extra money for a fucking piece of shit like you to take the jersey that I paid money for, and then I have to pay to send it to you, and you're going to sit there wear it going, look at my fucking Chris Paul jersey.
Nah, no cap. No cap. No cap.
No cap. You have no idea what fucking no cap is. Shut up.
I don't. I do recall watching that little exchange of trying to explain what that meant. It wouldn't take Justin to say, call it the truth or something.
It was, fucking worst thing was too, and for those that don't know, we've got a little side chat thing that we have with Justin, and Boyd was talking about no cap. I was prompting to try and get him to explain what the fuck it meant. And then Justin just jumps in, and our mate, so says Joe, for those listening, jumps in and goes, oh, no cap means this. And I'm going, fuck, I knew that, man. I was just trying to get fucking Boyd to explain it.
I had to embarrassingly ask on Twitter, and all these, all the American Suns fans, all obviously are fluent in the trendy lingo, and I have no fucking clue. And then no cap. Oh yeah, no, that's fucking no cap. Anyway, I practiced some in the mirror. I've got some hand gestures to go with me no cap. I've got me cap. We're good.
And you still fucked it up. If you're checking us out on YouTube, do us a solid, hit the like button, leave a comment, all that sort of stuff. Make sure you subscribe. We want to get those subscribers up. Really appreciate it because this shit cost me a fortune. So we need 1,000 subscribers so that you guys can start donating money while you're on here. Guys, this week in Suns basketball, we'll jump straight into it. Are the Suns back?
Oh, almost.
Boyd, are the Suns back?
Yeah, we're about 70. 60% back of where we're going to get to, if you ask me. But we're racking up some W's. So if you look at it from that perspective, yeah, we're back.
I think
we won 6 of our last.
We've hit consistent levels. Like our player performance has been more consistent. the way we win and lose is still consistent. A couple of
But
comments
we've
there.
won since we're on last. We've won 6 of our last 7.
And there was a 4-game win streak, so you can't, that 4-game win streak was worthwhile.
And the one we lost, who did we lose to? I don't even know.
Dallas.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then-
we lost. And that was,
Yeah.
even that one was fucking a disgrace. We should have won that game.
Just Dinwiddie having it. How do you lose a game to Spencer Dinwiddie? Fucking hell. Anyway,
Boys got the yips. They got the yips there for sure. Fuck, we should have put them cunts away. 3 minutes
Yeah,
in,
I'm not.
Luka goes down, and I'm fucking screaming my head off like, yes. Achilles, let him be fucked for life.
I was the opposite way. Yeah, I was the opposite way. I actually went, fuck, he went down. They're actually better when he's not playing.
Hey, and you know what? There's
They
a really
play like a
strong
team.
case. There's a really strong case that could be made that guy dominates the ball so much and is so in tune with himself all game that the other guys just don't get any rhythm and they just don't get going. And us taking Luka out may have just got everyone else, their juices flowing throughout the game and they pipped us. They remembered how to play. Anyway.
what was his first game back was 51 points, wasn't it?
50,
just
something like that
against.
But it was against the Pistons. Let's be fucking honest. And
To
if you
Boyd's
watch
point,
that
he
game, he
comes
didn't
back,
pass
he
the
does
ball.
all the scoring. Nobody else gets the fucking ball. No one else
And that's
gets that.
that's the worst thing. Like, they came out after that game against the Pistons and went, oh, fucking Luka, and people jumped back and went, oh, no, but his usage rate. Oh, look at his team. It's shit. Well, his team was actually fucking a hell of a lot better without him.
Yes.
But anyway,
Exactly.
fuck talking about
Yeah,
fucking Luka.
But he's still 5 in the MVP race.
Yeah, fuck him.
The most valuable player usually takes in the team, right? Improvement.
No, fuck Luka. Don't want to talk about him. Let's talk about the Suns. Who was your player of the week, Boyd?
Oh. My
In the
player of
chat,
week,
tell us who your player of the week was.
mine goes to Bridges.
Hold on. Who the fuck is Nevetsov?
I don't know, but he's busted our C-bomb for the episode pretty early.
There's
I'm
a
always
real strong
looking for people
case that
people.
you're all cunts. No, well, I don't think that's debatable. We've never debated that. I'm pretty sure we've accepted it and been really forthcoming about it.
It's literally the premise. If we had a mission statement, that would
And
be in there.
except Boyd. Boyd, are you fucking typing in fucking YouTube again?
Well, my hands are here, man. I promise.
We're back to burner accounts. Fucking hell.
Who was your player of the week, Boyd?
Mate, look, it's got to go to Bridges, our guy Macau, and timely, so timely. His reinvention of his game, him doing all that book stuff has been a real breath of fresh air. And CP3 and Cam Johnson coming back into the fold and making it that much easier for him. All that hard work that he put in through that terrible December that we had, all them fucking embarrassing losses where most Suns fans had done their armchair GM shit and traded half the team and sacked the whole fucking front office and whatever or whatnot. That all happened, but then you know what happened is that Macau got some running mates back, and we started fucking firing, and there's still a lot more to go. We've still got a lot more in store. So yeah, Macau Bridges for me.
Hey,
Right. Well, I actually it was down to 2, and for me it was a runaway for CP3. I did give Bridges a look in because he finally got consistent. So even like the pods that I wasn't on, the pods that I have been on, every time we keep talking about it, even with Saul, was the inconsistency of Bridges' performance that was the issue. And over the last few games, well, several, he's been very consistent. But I picked CP3 based on his impact on the entire team. Like, it's obvious when CP3 is back that everything changed. Not just the performance of an individual, but everything. All the gears click differently. And you can't knock his individual performances, double-doubles, like almost every game with points assists. So for me, it's an easy CP3. Boyd's got a chubby here, doesn't he? Let's fuck the formalities.
it looks
Boyd's
like
down here getting a little hard
Dano's-
on for his friend posting all these very nice comments about him.
I really want to know who that is now. I'll suck his cock.
So Dano agrees with you, Nate. CP3, and I also agree with you. Chris Paul is back to being the point guard. All you fuckers that said Chris Paul's washed, Chris Paul's this, Chris Paul's that, go fuck yourself. I copped a whole heap of shit in the last week, and I'm probably going early on my flog of the week, but I copped a whole fucking heap of shit this week because apparently we're too positive about our players here on this pod, according to the fuckheads that are in the chat in the fucking PH&X pod. So go fuck yourselves. Because Chris Paul has come back and been Chris Paul. And I've seen articles over the last fucking 48 hours about, the Suns are now considering that Chris Paul's too old and they need to move on. Chris Paul is Chris Paul again. There's a reason we've won 6 from 7, and the majority of that reason is Chris Paul. So go fuck yourselves.
He is a general and he's on the court. Hey, are we going to talk any about the individual games? Because, the Spurs game.
Roll in, mate.
The Spurs game particularly.
So, before you do, though, Boyd, he's sending you all his best from Portland. So, I think it might be Dame Lillard.
Steve. That's Steve.
Dame's looking to come to Phoenix as a replacement for Chris Paul. So, it might be Dame.
Actually, we'll give a quick shout out to Steve Voss from the group. He's actually in the States right now. He messaged me today from Portland. He's in Portland at the moment, and he went to a Portland Hawks game like last night.
Bossy? Big Bossy?
Oh, I don't know about Big Bossy. He's over there now anyway. But
yeah.
Good old Vossy. Do you remember when he pushed him on the road?
He could possibly be on a train right now, just got nothing to do, traveling, and this is what he's doing because... I mean, I
love that, can't I?
It is Steve. Read it backwards. It's Voss Steven. That's who's sucking you off. There you go.
Hey, it's about fucking Bossy that you jumped into a fucking live on this day. Nate and we've been harassing you to get on a fucking live here, so about fucking time you did. The Spurs. Talk about it, Nate.
Well. I'm watching it. We're up by fuck knows how much. It was a great lead. And I'm just watching it going into the third. I'm like, I'm actually not comfortable. I actually think we probably fucking blow this. And I'm watching it. And I just watch it start dwindle away. And I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. And I remember I was still lying in bed because it's a lot friggin' earlier here that the games are on. And I'm watching it. And then I'm like, of course we go to fucking overtime. Of course. And thank God they redeemed themselves in overtime. But one of the thoughts I had while watching the game was that we used to hate San Antonio, mostly because of Robert Horry and all the championships. But it's hard to hate them now. Like the Monty and Pop connection, the Monty and Pop connection, you have to respect it.
I don't care about that. I just like that they're shit.
Well, I mean, okay, yeah, good, yes. Also,
we don't like them.
It's good that they're shit. But watching that game too, it's watching Pop. Pop looks older. And Pop now looks like...
We're not in Florida, Steb. We're in Australia, mate. It's only 8 o'clock at night.
I thought that was a giveaway by the name of the pod. But anyway, Pop actually looks like a grandpa to all of his players now. Like, look, his name's Pop, and he literally looks like Grandpop on the sideline. He's softer now. Like, you watch his approach 5-10 years ago when they were winning to the way he is now. He's completely different. So I was just watching, going through the motions.
Bro,
we're going to fall apart. Then when we finally win, and you watch Monty and Pop hug at the end of the game, and you're like, "Oh."
If Pop got himself worked up like he used to, with this fucking pack of players that he's got now, he'd have a fucking heart attack. Fucking 2 games into the season.
There would be a lot of...
In saying that, like that Spurs game, that Spurs game was Sohan, remember the Zohan and fucking Keldon Johnson. Jeez, they hit some fucking big shots, though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, look, we were up 30. We were up 30 in that one. Yeah. And I was really, but I got to a point where I thought to myself, we had that really down third. It was the third quarter that they started pegging it back, and then into the fourth. Is that right? Yeah. Anyway,
Yep.
when they pegged that back, I was like,
While Chris Paul was on the bench.
it was such a good game up until that 10-minute stretch, spanning over the end of the third and the fourth, and I was just like, fuck me, here we go. And I was pleasantly surprised with what happened in overtime there. It was fucking unreal. It was fucking nice.
You can't fault the overtime.
Yeah.
But what is it with us though?
So
that
the only thing.
Teams? Like fuck.
Say that again, Nate.
What is it with us though? Giving up 30-point leads to shit teams.
We've done it quite a number of times recently too.
It's
a big lead. Well, not even shit teams, so like good teams as well. I remember over the last week we had the fucking Nets on toast, and then Kyrie went cooking. Thanks, Stafford, who fucking mouthed off in our chat group and went Kyrie shit, and I wonder how his flat Earth's going and fucking blah blah blah. And then Kyrie just went fucking ballistic and cut out the third.
The universe sent him a message before.
Yeah, I sent him a message and went, "You're a fucking piece of shit. Thanks for that, Staff." There was the Spurs game. There was a couple of games that we were getting. We were absolutely pumping.
And we come up with, and we've got Houston, we've got San Antonio, and we've got Detroit in the fucking week. So we're going to talk about. We're probably going to happen that week. I think we've got Detroit coming up. We always go, "Ooh, they're at the bottom of the ladder. We might lose that one." Like, what the fuck?
They're our danger games, not the fucking hard games. The fucking danger games are the Detroits of the world. Return of the book. So all of the talk. Flex from Jersey came out. He spoke about it. I think everyone else has spoken about it after he did, and they'll all claim it. By the way, please, if you're on Twitter, you're a Suns fan, don't sit there and hang shit on everyone else and fucking claim that you're the king of the world. That's all I'm going to say. Who's excited to have Book back? Boyd.
Bro, like, he's not going to know himself coming back into this. You think about our squad this year.
Well, what did we say? What did we say after he did his groin, right? We went, if we're 500, when he gets
look in the
back,
picture in your background. He's still fixing it.
Yeah, he's still fixing his groin in my picture. But we said if he gets back and we're still 500, we're good, right?
Yeah.
Look, and here's the thing. He hasn't. I was looking at our stats year to year over the last three seasons, right? And and it's largely due to the inconsistent pairing of Booker and CP3 for the most of this season, that they haven't played many games together, and it's affecting the way that our offense is going. You look at we used to be the killers from the mid range, and Mikau's taken a bit of a leap in their absence, but
McElboy.
Yeah, the McElboy. But yeah, look, Book's going to be coming back into a firing CP3, a new reinvented McElboy fucking Bridges, and the second best 3-point shooter in the entire league in Damian Lee, coming off the fucking bench. Cameron Johnson
fucking hadn't hit a shot for fucking 3 days. Cameron Johnson didn't even fucking score against Toronto.
Oh yeah, that's recency bias. Is that what we say, Gavin?
That's the whole point of a fucking podcast, boy. Recency bias.
Cam Johnson for Grayson Allen. That's what I say.
Since our last pod, if we're looking at that body of games since our last pod, Cam Johnson has been fucking phenomenal.
He's been sensational.
He has. And look, he had a little bit of a stinker, but man,
I mean, a player coming back after missing that many games and having that much of an impact, apart from obviously to the Toronto game, but the rest of them, he was brilliant.
Hey, and you know what? His jaw probably dropped and hit the fucking floor when he saw what Bridges was doing, because he was fucking cooking. That cunt was cooking. So, yeah, look, it didn't really matter that he was a bit quiet, but bro, like fuck, Book. Yeah, to answer the question, Book is coming back into the perfect situation. Everybody is going to be so much more wide open. and he's just gonna his assists are gonna go fucking through the roof because I can't imagine him coming back and just fucking freezing Bridges out. I think he's going to be looking for him. I think with that extra layer that we now have with our offense and Mikal Bridges being a fucking creator, we've been screaming for a fucking another ball playing, shot creating player, and Bridges has just fucking shown us that he's got some of that in the bag. He's fucking. It's gonna. This will be unlike anything we've ever seen when Book comes back.
I know we're on the topic of Book's back, but before we get too far off what you were saying, Boyd, I want to circle jerk back around to people come back. So Book's back, Cam's back. There's less minutes out there. This is probably more for you, Gav. Your favourite player, Sir Okogie, is down on minutes. Down on minutes, down on performance the last few games. What's going on there? Because this is your favourite guy now, right? So is this because the minutes are gone? Because or the availability of minutes are gone? Like what's going on with him?
He just hasn't needed. He hasn't needed to go. He hasn't needed to go masked Batman Okogie because we've been winning. So he's just cruising. He'll just step up when he needs to step up.
No, seriously. What about the Dan Marley Hustle Award?
It wasn't.
You said he was
It wasn't a flash in the pan.
Well, he's an absolute lock. If he doesn't win the Dan Marley Hustle Award, then there's something wrong with the voters.
Hence, back to my question: what's going on this week?
Nothing. He's come in and defended fine. He's just not. He's not doing those fucking trick, amazing offensive rebound, flick back over your head shit that he was doing before. But honestly, Cam Johnson coming back has impacted his minutes significantly, which is fair enough. He's a far more effective offensive weapon than Okogie.
In that game against the Mavericks, the amount of open shots that we got Okogie and he just fucking bricked them. Don't you fucking talk about him like that. It's not going to be bad. It's not going to be bad. I promise, maybe. But his shot choice, even when he's fucking wide open in that game, just looked like just fucking pass it, man. Just pass it. But
the shot choice is fine.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It was his ability to hit them, which was the problem.
Yeah. No, that's what I was trying to say. But in that particular game, I noticed that we're getting the wrong guys open. I think we got between him, between Okogie and Wainwright. I think they shot probably over half of our open shots. So fuck. I know everyone's got to step up and all that sort of shit, but get some other people some open looks. Just stop running it for them cunts. Fuck's sake. Anyway.
And there's the C-bomb. There's the official C-bomb.
There it is. 23 minutes exactly. And we can't go back and edit in this day and age. No. Look, I think Okogie's been really important during this period.
No, I was just bringing it up. We're talking about the last week, and then we were talking about people coming back, Book coming back, Cam coming back, and minutes being affected. I'm just curious.
Well, Josh isn't going to. He's not going to see the floor. Let's be honest.
We talk every week about rotations, right? We talk every week about, or when I am on here, or even when I'm not here, you guys still talk about Monty's rotations. Everyone in Suns land talk about Monty's rotations. Unpredictable as fuck. So, is it the minutes disbalance? Is there something else going on? I just wanted to argue over Okogie with you. You know?
I don't know whether you guys heard Jock on the PHNX podcast. He's now an official member of PHNX. But he was on there and went, well, to be honest, we get DMPs and stuff like that, but Monty and the coaching staff are really upfront about it. This game doesn't suit you. You're not going to see minutes.
Yeah.
So they go and do the work and whatever else, which is great. At least the players know what's going on. Now, let's be honest with Okogie, with Cam coming back, when Book comes back, when Shamet comes back, he's going to go behind those guys. Even Damian Lee's minutes this week have reduced significantly.
Yeah, look, I don't think, Dwayne, we got a 10-day contract guy. We got both of our two-way guys have been getting a lot of extra burn over the
Dwayne
last 6
Washington
weeks.
Jr. was a starting point guard for us this year. Don't run too far.
Well,
All right.
no, but
I
I
actually want to touch on that. I actually want to touch on Dwayne Washington Jr. because he played a couple of really good games early when he was starting for us, all that sort of stuff, and people lost their fucking collective minds. Why doesn't Monty play this guy more? Why doesn't he? Once other sides started planning for Dwayne Washington Jr., we saw exactly why fucking Monty doesn't play him much. And we saw exactly why the dude's a two-way player. Because Saban Lee is a better player than Damian Washington or fucking Dwayne Washington, whatever his fucking name is.
Well, that's the new argument, isn't it? Like, oh, shit, we've only got so many two-way contracts. Who do we leave one on? Do we leave it? There's Dwayne Washington. We've got Ish there. We'll talk about Ish later, I'm sure. At least if you don't want to, I do. And then we've got this Saban Lee guy that's, oh, hang on a minute.
Saban Lee, he can't. We answered that today. Saban Lee can't go onto a two-way. If we want Saban Lee to come back, we have to sign him.
Well, that can't happen because that contract has to belong to Ish.
Has to what?
That contract has to belong to Ish.
It has to.
I don't think there's anyone in Sunsland that would, looking at the two ways and looking at guaranteed contracts, would say give the guaranteed contract to Saban Lee instead of Ish Wainwright.
It's Saban Lee, man.
Whatever. He's not going to be on the fucking team. Doesn't matter.
I actually don't think he'll be on the team either. When all of this wraps up, now the fact that he can't go onto a two-way, I just can't see how he makes the team now.
No.
If he was able to replace Dwayne Washington Jr., then maybe.
So he can't. I know that we can't have more than two ways, but is it because of his 2 consecutive 10-day contracts?
So based on the information I finally received today was that you can sign 2 ways up until the 15th of January.
Yeah.
And you can sign 10 days up to a certain period. And the 2 10 days that Saban signed, the two 10 days that Saban signed took him past the time you could sign a two-way.
Yep. And I don't think you can sign any.
That would have
2 10 days. Anyway.
2 10 days is the max. So after that, if you want to sign them, they have to go on to a full contract. And the reason being that they signed Saban Lee to cover for the injuries of Campaign and Chris Paul. And they signed him on the 11th of January. And the two-way expiry was on the 15th of January. So there was no chance that it was ever going to happen. So Dwayne Washington is our two-way. And this is what Vossi said here is absolutely correct. And it goes for Ish as well. As a two-way, their games are limited. So they can only play 50 games in the season, and then they have to be upgraded. So I think by watching the games recently and the fact that D-Wash hasn't been playing, but Ish has, I think that come the end of trade period, if we still have an empty roster spot, Ish Wainwright's going to be the guy that's upgraded.
Well, let's jump right in there because that's what I wanted to talk about. Because Ishi's got 34 games played out of 50 already. He deserved as far as I reckon most Suns fans would agree, he deserved a minimum contract as the 15th roster spot coming into the season. And the fact that he went on to a two-way, that shows a sign of respect for the team. I mean, I certainly, as a fan myself, I certainly had a lot more respect for the guy wanting to take a two-way to stay with this team and prove his worth again for a full contract. So, I mean, what's he's got, like 16 games left that he can play on a two-way before we have to give him a full contract? I want to see him with the contract. I don't know about the rest of you, but
yeah, I agree. And I think
for me, it completely and utterly depends on what we do at the end of trade period. Now,
did you actually want to talk there? Boyd actually had some extra information.
Not really. You know, I don't listen to Boyd.
I just wanted to support you there, buddy.
Thanks, I'm used to getting cut off. Don't worry
if we have an open spot, then I've got no problem with it. Boyd.
Yeah, I was just going to say, look, we've been screaming out for another shot creating, a backup guard, and all that sort of stuff. And man, I'm going to circle back to Bridges. He's shown us that he's bringing the ball up. He played some point there in one of the games.
He's already rostered, mate. We don't have to upgrade him.
No, listen. What I'm saying is that we're not going to need to look at someone like Dwayne Washington for that final spot, or a Saban Lee. Ish just may walk into it just because we've sorted out some of that issue elsewhere.
No, fair call. Vossi reckons once the dust settles, Wash will get a permanent spot.
Good.
So you guys, all right. We'll go around the table here. If we've got an open roster spot, is it Washington or is it Ish? Boyd?
Ish.
What I reckon, Wash.
Ish. No cap.
It has to be Ish Wainwright for the full contract. Because you can keep Washington there on the two-way into the end of the year because he hasn't played as many games. So you can still utilize him. But Ish, Kevin's a cunt. There we go. Ish is that guy, right? Ish is the new Alan Williams. Ish is the new big source. Ish is the new soul of the bench. Dwayne Washington is a great
If you haven't been listening to the commentary, he used to play football, for fuck's sake.
Of course, look at him.
Football.
He's the modern day cheap PJ Tucker, and we've all referenced him to PJ Tucker. He looks like PJ Tucker, doesn't quite play as well as PJ Tucker, but it's hard not to look at him and just have a little bit of nostalgic love for the way he plays the game and the way he loves his team.
Yeah, I'm all over Ish as well, and I mean, because Wash is games limited. Hold on. Because Wash is games limited, you max their value at, so you have more games left, right? And then
it's also fucking.
Then you said, Steve. Once the dust is settled, if a spot or two remains, Wash will get a permanent spot. And then you said, if a spot remains, learn to read, Gav. Fuck it. There's other people that are on the live right now. Please comment so that we don't have to keep putting fucking Steve's shit up.
This is why we wanted Steve on here as a like always as a person, so we could put shit on him straight to his face on this camera, and like fucking hell. Granted, it's pretty early where he is. He's done He's done pretty well to even log in and.
He has done well. I can't believe he's in Portland. What the fuck are you doing?
Well, I think he might be leaving Portland, heading inland, because he said he was earlier to me. He was getting trained somewhere.
Found a Tinder date over there, or?
Well, there was a comment about that too, but we're not going to get into that. We'll talk about Suns basketball.
All right, this week we've got a couple.
It'll get us cancelled. Trust me.
We've got a couple of weeks left. A couple of games left this week. 3 games before our pod on the weekend.
Get it out for free. There it is.
For those listeing on audio,
$5.
We got a comment, how many donations to see Boyd's nipples, and he just got it out for nothing.
Hello to all our American viewers. This is what
hello to all our American viewers. This is what happens when we're not live at your time. So 3 games left before basically we pod again. We got Atlanta at home, then the Celtics and the Pistons away. Tough week.
The Celtics at home?
No, the Celtics are away.
Good.
Yeah, everything's away. The only the Hawks game is the home. The rest is all long away trip. It's like 5 games.
Yeah,
5 games away. Yeah.
So I think the away trip is Boston, Detroit, Brooklyn, Atlanta, and Indiana away for basically until next weekend. But how do you see this week going? Atlanta, Boston, Detroit. Boy, what's our record in those 3 games?
Just in 3 games? We're just
3-0.
Well, look, those 3 because we'll try and pod again on Sunday after the Pistons game.
3-0, guys. We're going 3-0. Big game. I'm getting that 70-point fucking book game vibes. Talk some smack to Jay Crowder maybe because he put it on him. Yeah, man. Atlanta are fucking in a shambles at the moment. Boston, they've dropped a couple recently. They may be bouncing back now after.
Can you just explain something you said? You were saying
Hey?
Booker wants to shit on Jay Crowder. Is that because he's training
No.
in Atlanta, or?
No, well, when he dropped that 70-point game on Boston
Yeah.
a few years back, him and Jay Crowder had all that fucking.
That was the same season. Oh, right. Okay. Now I get it. Now I get it.
Because Crowder was playing for Boston then. So,
Yeah, okay.
And now Crowder's on the outs here. So, yeah, I'm just making a link somehow. But, yeah, look, I've always got us going W. So, three W's, no fucking cap, boys, no cap.
Right.
Nate,
So,
what do you reckon?
well, let's get some.
Hold
context.
on. Before we go to you, Nate, Jared Humphreys is cancelling his OnlyFans now, boy, because you showed your nipples for free on him.
The nipple prevails.
Nate, what do you got?
Mate, what was the flex news on Book? What's the return game?
He is talking either the Pistons or Brooklyn.
Okay, so I reckon we lose to Boston if Booker's not there.
Fucking loser.
Yep, no, I think it's a game we drop. No, I'm not saying we're going to lose by a lot, but I think it's a game we drop if it's in Boston, at TD Garden, and we don't have Book. I think we drop it. If we've got Book, I think we pick it up. If that was the return game, I think he would literally dunk on the rim and sperm on Tatum's head. I think it'd be a jizz party. But without Booker, I think we drop that one. Yes, Atlanta at home, especially because there's no Trae Young. So their little general and their little hog scoring guy isn't there. So we'll pick up Atlanta. I think we'll drop Boston. I think we'll pick up Detroit. So that's 2-1. Are we talking about the Nets or just dropping at Detroit?
Just the three games.
So 2-1 for me.
2-1. So we're going to beat. I thought you just said drop Detroit. No.
No. I mean, I reckon we'll probably win in overtime.
after being up by 30.
Up by 40, win in overtime.
Look, I'm the same. I think we're 2-1. I think we drop to Boston on the weekend. It's the first game of a back-to-back. And yeah, Detroit second night of the back-to-back, I'm okay with, especially if Book comes back. So 2-1 for me.
Boston are still top of the East at the moment, right?
Yeah. I believe so.
Look, Steve just made a comment there in that you put up about the leagues getting behind Tatum. I don't want to spend too much time talking about other players, but if you look about the MVP vote and look at what each team's leaders are doing, it is clear that the league is, or the media is trying to push Tatum as the best player in the league, the MVP. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I watched him play that game at Etihad Stadium in Melbourne when it was USA versus Boomers, and he didn't look like the greatest player on the court. He looked like the biggest fucking ball hog. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't love him on our team if we had have been able to get that Josh Jackson thing the right way fucking round, but the media is pushing this one because he's the newest next name that hasn't already won MVP.
And I don't give a fuck what anyone says at the moment. I know he's won 2 in a row, but Jokic is the MVP of the NBA right now.
And you can't argue with Denver's performance. You can't argue with what he's doing. And then you look at games played too. You got to take in games played, and Embiid's not played so many, and Jokic is
And I know Embiid was phenomenal against Jokic the other night, but fucking hell, his season, Jokic has been Jokic, Djokovic, whatever his fucking name is. He's been sensational.
Doesn't matter. You can't fly the fucking flag anyway in Melbourne, so
No, that's true. No, that is true. All right, gents. The trade rumors continue. The biggest ones right now. Well, the biggest one right now is OG Anunoby, and we have spoken about it before. but it is
Is it
gaining
likely,
a
though? Is it
heck.
just a rumor? Like, come on.
It's a
What's the
well,
what's
it's
the temperature on it? What's the
it's
temperature?
gaining a heck. So
Okay,
so
perfect.
for me
What's the chili
personally,
scale on it?
for me personally, who spends far too much time on Twitter and all that sort of shit, and does way too much of that shit. When people like Shams or whatever the fuck his name is, and Woj and these guys start mentioning this, it becomes the legitimacy goes up. So for me, the heat check has gone from 30% to 70% based
Okay.
on whatever package that we can offer for an OG and an newbie.
Okay.
Now, my biggest fear is that the only package that we will offer to Toronto that will suffice will include Cameron Johnson. Me personally, I'd say no to that based on what Cam's done. And if we want to improve the roster the way it stands and make sure that we elevate to championship contenders, we shouldn't be giving away guys like Cam Johnson. It needs to be give away our draft picks and give away our expirings. Now, I think if we trade for OG, I think we can do that with maybe three draft picks and 2 expirings. And I think Crowder will be dealt separately to maybe Milwaukee. Right now, the other rumor I saw today was that Milwaukee's made an offer. I think I shared that a couple of days ago, though, which was Ibaka, George Hill, and Nawara.
Nawara.
And Nawara, and the Suns have come back and said, no, we want Grayson Allen.
No, didn't what's his name? Didn't Gambo come on and say that there's no interest in Grayson at all?
That was a few weeks ago.
That was a few weeks ago. It must have just been a retweet I saw. Okay. You know what? To be perfectly honest, there was a few there was some second round picks in there as well.
Gav? Yeah, a couple of second round picks.
Yeah. I like that over Grayson Allen. Them pieces. And the reason I say that is you could is there scope to move them pieces elsewhere, whether it's a third team or just a simultaneous trade elsewhere? Can you pick up something else to then pair with one of?
Well, I actually still think, personally, I still think the Knicks are very, very interested in Grayson Allen, and I think we can potentially get a 3-teamer there where Crowder goes to Milwaukee, Allen to New York, and we end up with a Quickly and a Reddish.
Oh, no, there's no way we get Emmanuel Quickly and Reddish.
We have to give up picks.
I was going to say, fuck. I'm like, there's no way those 2 players end up here. Fucking hell.
Well, Reddish.
For Crowder.
The second
But
round.
let's roll back though. Let's talk about Anunoby first, right? Do you think that this is a player that would come in and improve this side? Take Cam Johnson out of the mix. Is he going to come in and improve the side? Is it the type of trade that you want to see James Jones and the Suns attack? Boyd.
Yes, it is. And look, my only issue with it is the acrobatics you have to do with the roster, because I'm doing it and I'm keeping Cam because I'm living fucking perfect world sort of life here. So yeah, I'm throwing in 1 or 2 first rounders and take your pick, guys.
It'll be more than 1, mate. It's 2 or 3.
Likely. You're likely right. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, glass half full. I'll say 1 or 2 first, plus take your pick of our expirings. Obviously there'll be like a Jay Crowder in there, maybe a Dario.
I don't think a Crowder will be involved in any trade for OG.
Well,
I think it'll be completely separate.
Yeah, I think it could be. Anyway, just from a talent standpoint on what we got expiring, I think he might be in there for me to get away with having 1 less first round draft pick. Let me roll with it for a second. The reason Anunoby is one of the best perimeter defenders in the entire league. Him and Bridges will fucking will just fucking look. That's one thing that we are missing this year. I was looking at stats today, and now teams are shooting at a couple of percent better than they were last season, and it's because we've lost the that defensive hustle and what he puts, how he brings other players up defensively from Jay Crowder. Like we're missing that this year. Anunoby is a perfect plug that hole and just to bring up our defensive tempo, I think. So yeah, 100%. That would be my number one guy. I'm just scared as to what they're going to demand for him. That's all.
Hey,
No. I don't think we make a play for him. Simple as that.
What do you want to go for?
It's not. It's back in fairyland.
It's hard to say we won't make a play for him when the talk out there is that the Suns and the New York Knicks are absolutely making a play for him.
I haven't bought into it.
Why not, Nate? Why don't
because,
you think
actually, to Gav's point, because it's going to cost us. It's going to cost us, and it's not just going to be the Crowder thing. All we really want to do is move Crowder and get something better that complements our system. If we bring him in, it's going to change our system. So we just spent 3 years, Boyd, dealing with your fucking bullshit about Jay Crowder's not the starter, it's Cam Johnson. We need to fuck Crowder off and get Cam Johnson in. We're finally at this point where you get to do your little hand jerks and get Cam Johnson as the starter and Crowder's fucked off. You bring OG in, you've just created the same fucking argument we just spent 3 years getting over, except these are two young cunts that are going to be fighting against each other.
So the biggest difference for me is OG is a guy that can defend everything from Luka. And let's look at the Western Conference, right? But
you also said this about a Kogi. So you just want to pay more for this other guy that's doing something that we've already got a hustle award.
He's better than a Kogi, but it's.
Thank you for admitting that.
But he can defend Luka, or he can defend LeBron, or he can defend Zion. A Kogi can't defend Zion.
No, I know.
When you're talking about playoff basketball, as long as, and look, don't get me wrong, I need to be clear. As long as we don't need to move Cameron Johnson as part of this, it's, for me, if you bring a player like OG in, and you could start, and here, OG starting at power forward. Now, okay, I'll talk to you about this. I'll go back to this because of this comment here. OG starting at power forward? Yes. I'd start OG at power forward before Cam Johnson, and I'd have Cam Johnson.
Back to my argument. We just spent 3 years shitting on this.
But that was Boyd. You were shitting. Boyd was shitting on that argument. You and I sat there annoying the fuck out of Boyd.
I was a Crowder fan.
We wanted Crowder before Johnson. Why? Because the exact reason that we're having this discussion now, that the bigger guys on other teams just fucking bully us. Now, you bring an OG in and you bring Cam Johnson off the bench to back up OG and Mikal between the two and the three.
We haven't signed his contract yet. Cam Johnson's contract isn't signed yet.
No, I'm well aware that he hasn't signed, but it's natural.
The argument here now is that we were going to sign his contract based on the fact that he's moved into the starting position, and that was going to be, okay, let's talk about this.
That's Boyd's argument.
Yeah, but if we turn around and say, oh, by the way, Cam, we didn't want to sign you early because we thought we'd get someone better. Fuck it, we think we did. Now we're talking about giving money to someone off the bench.
I'll tell you right now, at the end of the year, Cam's getting 20 anyway because of the new TV deal.
With us, though? With someone else?
Nate, the Cam's restricted. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he wants to go sign somewhere else. He can go sign at fucking Indiana like DA did. We just matched a cunt. We're fucking good. Don't worry about it.
It doesn't fix the culture. It doesn't fix the team thing. All right? This whole argument started about where does everyone fit? Where does everyone gel? And you just create a new argument.
So who are you bringing in? Because if you go onto Suns Twitter, if we don't make a move, we can't fucking win anything.
We can. We can still win fucking everything. Even if we don't make a move. Mark my word.
Actually, I do want to quote something, and there's no answer. It's just a random quote. I saw it in the trade talks discussion. So, according to Kurt Heelan of NBC Sports, unless the Raptors do something in before the trade deadline, the best player to be traded by the trade deadline is going to be Jay Crowder. I fucking pissed myself laughing when I read it because he's saying this like, oh my god, this is a shit show. We're sitting there
He's
going,
lost. He's
we
lost
just
so
want
much.
him gone. We just want him gone, and he's holding up wherever he's training to try and improve his trade value.
Well,
And he's
that leads
by
me
NBC.
that leads me to the next one, which is very interesting, and Boyd might want to block his ears. The trade value of this next guy has dipped, according to all of the information out there, and would include a Jay Crowder because this team wants him, and it is where Jay Crowder is training and staying at the moment, Atlanta and John Collins. There is now talk. There is now talk that Atlanta would take expirings and one or two, and Zach Lowe was the one who reported this, as little as one first rounder and some expirings for John Collins. Now, we've spoken about this before. I know, Nate, you and I were keen on him when he was free agent and trying to sign, and Boyd, you fucking hated him forever, hated his guts. So we should have a good balance here.
Yep, no, I've got a very strong opinion on this one now.
But expirings and let's go worst case scenario, 2 first rounders for a John Collins who can come in at the 4. How does that float your boat, Boyd?
Well, come in at the 4. Well, the second guy off of the bench, you mean?
Whether he starts, whether he doesn't, who gives a fuck? When the trade happens,
look,
who cares where he comes from?
Hey, look, I think from a purely a talent standpoint,
talent and fit.
No fit. There's no fit.
Fuck off.
What if there's? Or I disagree with you there, but what if it's not giving up anything but expirings and picks?
Well, then if that's the last arrow in the quiver, well, then
you think that John Collins is the last arrow in the quiver?
For mine, yeah.
Wow.
I think.
Nate, why don't you save this pod with some common sense?
Oh, love to. Thank you, Gav. So we've spent the entire fucking duration of this podcast, 3 years now, giving opinions on John Collins. And for the first 2 years, we called him a flog. We all the shit that went on in the team against him and Trey, and him wanting the max contract, and the size of his ego, and the locker room presence, and all the bullshit. He addressed all of it this year, hasn't he? He's been a great teammate on the court. He's never spoke out against his teammates. There's no Twitter shit going on in Atlanta anymore with John Collins and Trey Young or anyone else. They might not be the best team, but this guy has literally changed his game, his attitude. The way it appears to me watching the games, because I have watched some Atlanta games because they're fun. They're fun. They're a fun team. They're still figuring it out. But John Collins looks different on that team by way of attitude, and he's still fucking good. And I think if you put him in our system where no one's trying to be the big fucking swinging dick. You know, there's the general because he's been here for 20 years in Chris Paul. There's Book because he's the best player on the planet. There's a Suns fan. And then if you want to say, hey, let's join forces and just win rings. John Collins by this season and his attitude this season has shown, I want to win rings. I'll fit the team system.
You show
so
me.
I reckon as long as we can afford him, as long as it doesn't cost us, I reckon Gav's on the money. That would be. I'll reach into my pants and look like Book in the background of Gav's little thing there right now.
I've always maintained this, that I think if you put John Collins into a system that works, he would be really, really fucking good. I think he's better than what he's been allowed to show at Atlanta. And I think he fits really, really nicely in what we've already got. Now, I know that Boyd has said he's a
I was
cancer.
trying to think of the song there, Gav. I Touch Myself by the Divinals.
Yeah, that's the one. He is. He's. Boyd doesn't like him because he's a locker room cancer. I've challenged Boyd on at least 6 occasions to show me something that proves this.
I absolutely used to agree with Boyd on that one. So
I keep asking for something that proves this. I still haven't seen it. Trey Young is the locker room cancer in Atlanta. And I think that if you're giving up expirings, you showed me fucking nothing.
I showed you live on that pod.
You showed me nothing.
I put my phone up here.
Yeah, nothing.
I showed you the
article. I'm saying, you fucking idiot. I'm saying right now that if we get John Collins into Phoenix for expirings and draft picks, he's a really, really good fit for this team.
Okay, look. All right,
that's a lock up for the future.
If that's true, and he's changed his fucking tune, and he's a fucking great locker room guy, and he's happy to back up Cam Johnson.
What tune? You still haven't proved it.
Well, I'll have to send it to you. I have to send it to you directly after this.
Oh,
but
I showed you the off the back of
on that
off the back of that statement, if we brought John Collins in, Cam Johnson would be straight back on the bench where he belongs as a 6-man.
No, not happening. Keep
Cam
Jay
Johnson's a 6-man.
I agree. I really do.
In that case, if there's nothing else, keep Jay Crowder. Let the cunt sit on the pine for the rest of the year. Don't buy the cunt out. Let him sit there, get a year fucking older, and get all rusty and shit. And good luck next year, cunt. That's
why? Because I said Cam Johnson's a 6-man.
Chip. Then we go off and win a chip without him. Fuck it.
You know what the best part about John Collins would be? The fact that he'd make DA work. Because Collins would be sitting there and Monty would have to go, fuck, this is a better centre than our starter. His attitude is different. His attitude would have to rub off on DA or DA is going to have to fuck off. Think about what DA could do with John Collins' attitude.
Oh, God. Yeah, okay. We're not bagging on DA, I don't think, on this pod, are we?
No, I don't want to.
I was trying to ignore it. I was trying to ignore it after the amount of shit I got this week. I did not want to mention that man's name.
I didn't want to go there.
But
dominating.
I didn't want to mention it, but it's.
No, let's fuck off all this. Right? He's staying with the team. That's the end of it. Fucking, he's great. He just needs the right amount of, influence up his asshole. Yeah.
So, JC attitude, he's the laziest cunt on the Hawks.
Yeah, see, it's really, really early in the morning where Steve is, and you should stop putting
stop, mate. Come on, mate. He works harder than he
We
works.
love you, Steve, but at the moment you're traveling and you're tired.
and we all know you're a pest when you're pissed.
Oh, I should drop some of his comments about Tinder right now. That'd fuck him off.
All right. So we're done with that, gents. I've got a question for you.
Yeah, it's a long.
I would kill everyone in this room for a drop of sweet beer.
So, Homer, please feel free to tell us anything.
Who do you want to have a beer with this week, Boyd?
Oh man, it's got. I think this one was used last week, but this week I think it's even more important. It's got to be fucking Ishbia, man. Give me Justin, give me either or. It's getting close to that. I think it's the 8th of February where he's going to be announced right before the cutoff for the trade deadline. That's when he's going to be announced. I'd like to catch up with the beer, have a beer with him, and just say, "Hey, man, are you gonna fucking drop a trade on us the night before your intro media fucking conference day, or are you gonna do it during your conference?" That would be fucking cool as fuck to have a beer with him and pick his brains on that shit. 100%. It's one of them Ishbia brothers.
The whole time you just said that, all I could think of is you sitting there having a beer with Ishbia going, fuck yeah, I got something before Justin. I can ring him up and tell him I know something you don't know.
I'd be like, hey, nice.
Do you know
Where do you
what
get all
I
that fucking
imagined?
from?
Do you know what I imagined? Him having a beer with Ishbia and going, hey, cunt. Are you going to do a fucking trade or not? Stop
It'll
fucking me around, cunt.
Or a
Wait,
podcast.
wait,
Or a
Matt, do you
podcast.
want my advice or not? Stay away from John.
Man, I got some fucking advice for you, cunt. That's what I could see going on with that beer. Nate, who do you want to have a beer with?
Look, I've already mentioned it in the pod, so it's not going to be a surprise. 34 games played from 50 on a two-way contract. Looking for a permanent contract. He's got my respect. Ish Wainwright has played very well the last few games. He's playing his tits off. He's doing everything he can, and he's shown his dedication to this team. And when we're getting into the last essentially 2 weeks of his eligibility for his current contract before he needs to be offered something to stay with this team, I thought, fuck yeah, I want to have a beer with this motherfucker.
He seems like a cool dude too. He's
He
fan
does seem
engagement.
Like let's
His
get
fan
drunk,
engagement,
and
everything like that. He's fucking great. Yeah, I love him. Me personally, I want to have a beer with K-Ray. He is fast becoming the voice of the Phoenix Suns right now. Now I know I love Al McCoy. He is the voice of the Phoenix Suns. He's getting a bit older. He's in and out. But K-Ray's coming out with some fucking great calls.
K-Ray got his promotion back when the Bullets played Suns in preseason. So we're going back several years. K-Ray got his promotion up into actually employment of Voice of the Suns. So he was like officially a part of that moving into the new Voice of the Suns back in that Bullets preseason. So what, 2015, 2017?
Yep.
2017.
Yep.
So yeah, no, absolutely.
So yep, that's my man. I want to have a beer with K-Ray. I saw him on the Suns jam session the other day, giving the thumbs up in the background when Voider was at the game live. I think it was the Brightside game. Shout out to Dave King and all of the guys on Brightside for what they did with the Brightside game this year. I know Ishbia jumped in, donated 100K, but they took something like 7,800 kids to that Toronto Raptors game. That's fucking insane. Kids that can't afford to go to the game. So Dave King, shout out to you. Fucking fantastic. Brightside Network. Really well done.
Before you move off K-Ray, when I was there in 2017, I actually went to the morning training session for the Bullets, and Larry Kesselman, who owns the NBL, was at the training session. And I was where I was sitting. I watched Larry walk up to K-Ray and congratulate him on his promotion, because K-Ray got his promotion literally just like at the start of the season. So we're talking 2-3 games in the preseason for the Suns, and he just got his promotion up into that where you're talking about he's the new voice of the Suns. And Larry Kesselman actually went and congratulated him on that promotion at the workout in the morning of the preseason game in 2017.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. And his commentary this year has been great. Him and EJ are just fantastic to listen to on the Suns broadcast. So well done, K-Ray. Gents.
Time for the Flog of the Week. And trust me, they are ugly. Very unattractive. Google their face when you're done here.
Who's your Flog of the Week, Boyd?
It's the NBA Referees Association and that tweet that they sent out saying that they're losing sleep, and it was a gut-wrenching fucking mistake, and they're so appalled. They're losing sleep over that LeBron James missed call. They apologized. Why the fucking hell haven't we got this for any of our players or any other players in the entire history of the NBA happening? It's absolutely.
I think it's the first time ever we've seen a fucking comment from the NBA Referees Association going, yeah, you know what, we messed up a call in the. I mean, they do the last 2-minute report, but
Yeah,
they released an official fucking statement to go, "Oh, Paul LeBron, we didn't call a foul."
They sucked his cock in a tweet. It was fucking pathetic. It was pathetic.
Well, in fairness, he did pull it out and roll around on the crypto.com/Staples center floor.
Could you imagine if
holding
fucking
it out
Book
there,
did that shit?
having a tantrum, waving his dick at the refs? Please give me a call. What the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, he didn't really give him a chance but to respond.
Mate, it was it's going to become a meme, a GIF, or whatever the fuck you call them.
It already is.
Oh, mate, it's an absolute. It's so embarrassing for the NBA as a brand. They're pandering to it. Okay, he's an icon, but they're pandering to him, and fucking, it's like that's what he wanted, man. Fuck, don't.
Can I throw a little bit of kerosene on this?
Yes, of course you fucking can.
The age-old debate: who's better, LeBron or fucking Michael? This is why MJ is better, because he didn't give a fuck about this political shit. He didn't give a fuck about throwing all this thing. The NBA could get on with their life, and MJ was very happy with his life.
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't have last 2-minute reports back then.
I don't.
MJ would have met him out in the parking lot, or slashed his tires, or some shit like that. He wouldn't have done all that shit on the court.
Nate, who's yours?
Well, I have a very detailed one, and it's probably going to get me in a fair bit of trouble because I'm going to even give you his Twitter handle. So, for everyone that's listening at home and isn't watching the visual, the minute that Gav threw to me and asked for my opinion, he fucking left. And Boyd, about half a second later, also fucking left. So they're either taking a piss or getting a beer. So they won't know what I've said when they come back to this. But I'm going to go, my flog of the week is at the Rob Goldberg on Twitter. So Rob Goldberg is based in Maryland. I mean, we're Aussies. We don't know how to say it. He decided, he works with Bleacher Report, and he's got an article on Bleacher Report titled "The Mavs May Consider Ayton in the Off-Season." That's how the title is worded. So we've just signed the guy to a 4-year max extension, which he has control over, obviously, at the trade deadline. And the Mavs of all fucking teams, and this guy has said that the Mavs might consider him as someone they want in the off-season. Fuck you, Mavs. Why the fuck would the Mavs have any control over this situation? B, why would the Suns fucking talk to the Mavs about TA? And Gav, I really implore you to go back and watch the replay of this for at least.
I don't need to. I heard it all.
Oh, you did hear it all? Good, because I really did put some shit on you there.
Yeah, no, I heard it. I was.
So, Mr. Rob Goldberg of Bleacher Report, because you think the article was about the Mavs having control over pursuing DA in the off season, you are my flog.
Well, let's be honest.
Sorry, brother, I don't know you, but you should have worded your shit differently.
They tried to take what's his face, JaVale McGee, because he was going to be their starting center. So I'm assuming that it's all the fucking Mavs want to do is try and get our centers.
Be more like us.
That rumor actually originated. It was either Windhorse or was it Zach Lowe's podcast? Tim or some shit like that. One of them national fucking podcasts. They actually one of the guys on there who was around the Mavs for a while. Apparently that there's some truth to the Mavericks being interested in Ayton.
Of course they're fucking interested, but they're going to have to trade for him. What are they going to trade for him?
They control the article sounded like they control the off season and they're going to get him.
We want Ayton. They don't control anything. He's fucking signed for 4 years. They don't control a fucking thing.
Brother, trade him to Indiana. Fucking hell.
My flog of the week is, and I touched on it earlier.
Yes,
the people in the chat for the PHNX pod. I went jam session last week. I'm going PHNX this week. I had a little bit of a war in there. They started their shit on DA. Apparently, Miles Turner fucking flogged him when we played the Pacers. When Miles Turner shot 5 from 19, and but he hit 2 from 4 threes. So because he was 50% from 3, he flogged DeAndre Ayton. I don't want to go into DA too much. I just want to go into the fact that the comment was that because I'm from Australia, I know fucking nothing about basketball.
Oh, you've heard this before.
I've heard this, and I've brought it up before, and I'm happy to bring it up again. I'm happy to bring it up again. I am more than happy to back my fucking basketball knowledge over yours every day of the fucking week, you fucking turd. And I really hope that you're listening to this. I know that you said our podcast is shit because we like our players that play for the Phoenix Suns. Well, fucking sorry. But I'm kind of figuring that's the point of being a fucking fan of your team, you fucking morons.
Gav, you and I we've been to Phoenix together. I've been there 3 times. Steve in our chat here has been there fucking 10 times or something. I know Staff in our chat's been there before. There's a bunch of us that have been to Phoenix, and I mean, you and I have walked around Phoenix and talked more Phoenix basketball with more accuracy than half the fucking locals. So
it drives me nuts. And
there's a reason that people like Justin and Saul and Espo and John Boyder and even Paul to some extent still talk to us because we do actually follow this team with a little bit of, even if
not only that, invite us on their fucking shows to talk about the Suns, because we kind of spend our time fucking watching, researching, doing all that shit. And now I get it. That even the guys from the jam session have been fucking like all over DA and hating his ass as well. And I've been frustrated with DA at times. I mean, for fuck's sake, he took a midi jumper over fucking Fred VanVleet the other day, and I just went, "The fuck are you doing?" He frustrates me. But hey, he's not a failure. He's not a failure as a number 1 pick. He's not fucking shit. I've been sucked into it, haven't I? He's not a failure as a number 1 pick. And he fitted our fucking team perfectly. Go fuck yourselves. And he's better than Miles Turner. Ah! All right, go, Nate.
Do yourself a favor, guys. Go and have a look at their effective field goal percentage from the difference between last year and this season. And look at Mikal Bridges and look at DeAndre Ayton. Look at their field goal percentage and look at their effective field goal percentage. And then think about who's copping all the flack and who isn't, and how much it actually means. I mean, fuck, it's polarizing is the new buzzword.
Do you know the thing that really fucking does me is that we spend so much time on pods, on Twitter, as Suns fans, fucking comparing and trying to create a narrative of Mikal Bridges versus fucking DeAndre Ayton. They play different fucking games. They play different positions. They do everything differently. Let the motherfuckers play the game. Because you know what? 2 years ago, we were in the NBA Finals and we had a 2-0 lead. We're not that fucking far off. And those motherfuckers were 22 years old.
Exactly. It's the ebbs and flows. They're growing pains. Let's call it whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, what I was trying to get at is both of them players have had significant drops off in their efficiency from last season to this season. And it's because we've had a fucking shitty hand. And they're adjusting to new, and then they're readjusting on the fly to fucking 1,000 different lineups. It's just
don't get me wrong. I'll make a statement right now that will almost support the people I just called flogs. DeAndre Ayton has spent far too many games this year sulking.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been sitting on this comment for a while, but you just fucking laid it out for me, Gav. Remember back in the bubble where these rumors about the whole team getting together in a hotel room, and there was one little fluffer in the room that made everyone happy?
Yeah.
I reckon that little fluffer didn't spend enough time on DeAndre Ayton. I reckon that's where all this came from. I reckon if there was 5 extra minutes applied to our centre in this fluffing arrangement, I reckon we could have a completely different team.
I actually think.
I had to. I'm sorry. I was holding it back, and you just like. Oh,
I actually think if James Jones just had have extended the motherfucker, we wouldn't be going through this. But
well, that's what the fluffer was supposed to do.
I still don't see. Honestly, personal opinion, I still don't see DeAndre Ayton playing for the Suns after the end of this season, like the off-season trade period. If he doesn't get traded before deadline, he'll be traded like over the next end of season deadline. But that's just me personally.
Season is a proving ground.
Yeah,
I want to hope that the rest of this season is a proving ground with all the players back and our little CP3 general, our booker. I want to think the culture says you're in or you're not, and I'd like to think that DA is mature enough by the end of this with his big money bag that he's mature enough to just go, you know what?
And he's from Arizona. His mum's in Arizona. Everything's there, right? So what I'd love to see is, I think a fully healthy fucking Phoenix Suns team is absolutely an NBA championship contender. And I hope we get there, we contend, and we win it. And off the back of a Jay Crowder move and off the back of an expiring contract move, and someone mentioned earlier, I think it was Steve, mentioned how good is Dario Saric playing. Well, Dario Saric isn't playing that well. He's had one or two solid games, but he's been fucking horrific most of the time. If we can move those, bring something in, one or two players, whatever it is, I think this team can gel. And the West is a fucking joke this year, right? All you got to do is, the top two are sort of a little bit away, but all you have to do is finish in the top six. Does Denver really scare either of you in an NBA playoff fucking series?
Yes.
Really?
No.
I think
this season,
Denver's the greatest regular season team of all time.
Give me
based on history, yes, based on history, but it eventually something changes. And the reason that we keep talking about this fella for MVP every year, and then his roster changes, his roster shifts a little bit. I think this year they're actually the real deal. The fact that Aaron Gordon
plays with fucking Michael Porter Jr.
The fact that Aaron Gordon is back in All-Star contention, the fact that the Blue Arrow is back as the point guard, the fact that Jokic is going for 3 in a row, there's some cohesion there that we haven't seen before.
Denver doesn't scare me, man.
The reason I think the team is different this year to last, which is why I actually
give me all the Michael Porter Jr. ISO, and he wants to fucking take over the entire world.
Even Jokic. Jokic is not that good a defender. I am more than happy to play Denver in a 7-game series. More than happy. I fear the Warriors more than I fear Denver in a 7-game.
But they did win the whole fucking thing last year, so you know.
Yeah, it's because they got Steph who could fucking just, and it's not like Steph would step out and only hit 7 threes in one game. It'd
be interesting too if did Clay actually end up with the All-Star snub, or did he make it in?
No, he hasn't made. He did well. Not the original 5.
Not the starters, but so the reserves haven't been announced yet, right?
No.
So it'd be good. It'd be good if him and Wiggins don't make it.
Honestly, this is a really good. I'll give Steve some credit here. Not maybe the whole thing, because I don't fear Dallas or Memphis either. But the Pelicans are a team I actually fear.
I absolutely think the Pelicans.
Hang on. That's a different team. The Pelicans. Look at they're on like a 7 or 8 game skid. Now,
all they have to do is make playoffs and be healthy, mate. Like exactly what we're talking about.
Hey, but isn't Ingram getting traded?
Well, I was hoping so, but he spent the whole fucking year injured, so he won't get cranky enough.
And he hasn't.
And his last couple of games back have been very good.
He hasn't just come back just before the deadline, and I'm maybe trying to pump up his value to fuck him off.
No.
Well, let's just say
That's
we go past. Let's just say we go past February 9, and there's no trades. That team with Zion, with Ingram, with everyone
With
else that we
CJ,
faced last year, that's
they're
a
fucking
fucking
good,
good
man.
team.
That's a good team.
That is a
I agree,
Western
I agree.
Championship team. If they get past us,
Yeah, they have far too much length for us, the Pelicans. But hey, we'll wait and see what
fucking
happens.
fantastic rebuild though.
Yeah. Gents, it's been fucking awesome to catch up with you again. I've really enjoyed tonight. Boyd, last comments. Where can we find you? Let's go.
I love you. I love you all, especially you, Nate. You're
Can't.
you're getting so much better looking with age, mate. Your smile just makes me happy. And
Thanks, brother.
Gav, that fucking jersey better hurry up and get here, mate.
Maybe you know the best thing. I can't wait. I've only got like 3 weeks to go, and me and Nate are going to be hanging out in Singapore, and we're going to send you so many messages. We're going to fucking FaceTime you, hang shit on you.
We got to do a pod, right? We got to do a Singapore pod.
Yeah,
like
fuck
for my
yeah.
benefit, right?
Yeah.
Just to hang shit on Boyd too.
Thank you. I've missed it. It's been a couple of weeks, and I'm just I started feeling confident in myself and about my thoughts and everything. And I need you guys to bring me back down. Thanks.
Welcome back to normality.
Yes.
Nate, last comments. Where can we find you?
Look, I got to tell you, I miss the midweek pods. I miss doing this on like a Monday night or Wednesday night whenever we do it. I know we're doing the live recordings on a Sunday afternoon because we've got a lot, well, even more American viewers than we do Aussies at the moment, which is not how we started this thing. But hey, however the pill falls, cool. But I'm missing doing this on a, for me it was, we started this at 5 o'clock, so I had to run to the bottle of Jack Daniels at 4:30 just to get ready for it. I missed it. No, I'm hoping everything gets a little more regular for me now that we can get my schedule and yours lined up. Because this is fun. This is what we all started to do, to have fun. Absolutely. And do this with the Aussies. So,
well, it was the Sunday pods when we get guests. Everything else will be during the week, and we have been flooded with guests, which has been great. Let's be honest, we've had some fucking fantastic guests on. But I do agree with you. I do agree with you that us just jumping on, shooting the shit it's my favorite. It's my favorite.
And look, I'll publicly say thank you, Gav, for not doing the Random Suns thing tonight. I really didn't want to do that much of an agenda.
Yeah. And so for those of you that will send us messages as to why we didn't do it, Nate basically threw his toys out of the cot, fucking stomped his feet, and went, I don't want to do it because
I don't want to do it anymore.
I look like a fucking idiot. I don't want to do it. And Boyd kicks his ass every week, even though Boyd is still not an Espo.
Boyd really gets one.
Even a Saul now, because Saul whooped his ass last week.
Yeah. Saul and Espo, those two guys know their history. Those two guys know their history.
So the challenge is out there. We're not allowed to do Random Suns when Nate's on. Nate, you need to come up with another segment that we can fucking
come up with plenty of segments. Thumbs up, thumbs down was mine. So I'll come up with something else. That's fine.
No cap segment.
No cap with your no cap, you idiot. Thank you everyone for joining us. Follow us, Aussie Suns Fans, on Twitter. Like, subscribe, do all that sort of fucking great shit. Please do subscribe and like what we do. We love having you on. We love having you watching us, and can't wait to catch up with you next week. And maybe, depending on guests, if we don't get a guest, it'll be after the Pistons game during the week. If we do get a guest, we might see you Sunday after the Pistons game.
And just to keep Espo happy, Boyd will hold his child and have a beer and a vape at the same time. And
so, I need to create a catchphrase like all the other podcasts. So maybe it's hold your child, have a beer and a vape, have a good night.
No, that's shit.